Hi, Super Kids. Sue Storm here,
And I'm Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic.
and we're here to read you a story because after a long day of saving the world and doing our research, we like to unwind with a good book.
Let me stretch out and get one for us. Okay.
What do we
one?
have here? It's Dr. Seuss's Sleep Book.
Well, this one's a really good book for when you need to just slow down and relax at the end of the day. You know, we've got two other members of the Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, and Johnny Storm, aka The Human Torch. And boy, they've got really quite a couple personalities. One is basically made of rocks and goes around yelling about how it's clobbering time, and the other one will turn into a big ball of fire and start lighting things up. And when we need to calm the two of them down, this one really comes in handy, let me tell you.
Sure does. And so we're going to read this, and as you can see here on the cover, these two creatures here are yawning. We're going to do our best, but we may start yawning ourselves, so you can keep track and see how we do, count how many times we yawn. Warning, this book is to be read in bed. Here we go.
The news just came in from the county of Keck that a very small bug by the name of Van Vleck is yawning so wide you can look down his neck. This may not seem very important, I know, but it is, so I'm bothering telling you so. You yawning already?
Yes, I am.
My goodness.
There he is, starting things off.
If you get embarrassed about all the yawning, you can just turn invisible.
It's true. I might have to. A yawn is quite catching, you see, like a cough. It takes just one yawn to start other yawns off. Now the news has come in that some friends of Van Vleck's are yawning so wide you can look down their necks.
At this moment, right now, under 7 more noses, great yawns are in blossom. They're blooming like roses. Here. We need to make sure you get a good night's sleep.
I guess so. The yawn of that one little bug is still spreading. According to latest reports, it is heading across the wide fields through the sleepy night air, across the whole country toward every which where. And people are gradually starting to say, I feel rather drowsy. I've had quite a day.
Creatures are starting to think about rest. 2 Bifferbaum birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder how they do this big job without making a blunder. But that is their problem, not yours, and not mine. The point is, they're going to bed, and that's fine.
Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time for night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkerheimer Falls where the great river rushes and crashes down crags in great gurgling gushes, the Herkheimer sisters are using their brushes. Those falls are just grand for toothbrushing beneath if you happen to be up that way with your teeth.
The news just came in from the castle of Krupp that the lights are all out and the drawbridge is up. And the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, my drawbridge is drawn and it's going to stay drawn till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come round with a special delivery letter. So there.
The numbers of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. In Culpeper Springs, in the Stiltwalkers' Hall, the Stiltwalkers' stilts are all stacked on the wall. The Stiltwalker walkers have called it a day. They're all tuckered out and they're snoozing away. This is very big news. It's important to know, and that's why I'm bothering to tell you so.
Way out in the west, in the town of Merced, the Hinky Horn Honking Club just went to bed. Every horn has been quickly hung on a hook for the night in its own private Hinky Horn nook. All this long, happy day, they've been honking about, and the Hinky Horn honkers have honked themselves out. But they'll wake up quite fresh in the morning, and then they'll start right in Hinky Horn honking again. Okay, you got me going.
Everywhere creatures are falling asleep. The collapsible Frink just collapsed in a heap. And by adding the Frink to the others before, I am able to give you the Who's Asleep score. Right now, 40,404 creatures are happily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree, that's a whopping fine number. We've got a couple of those fours right here.
That's right.
I think it's a fantastic number.
Oh, that's a good one. Team player over here. Counting up sleepers, just how do we do it? Really quite simple, there's nothing much to it. We find out how many, we learn the amount, by an audio-teleo-tallyo count. On a mountain halfway between Reno and Rome, we have a machine in a plexiglass dome which listens and looks into everyone's home, and wherever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jiggles and lets a new biggle ball drop. Our chap counts these balls as they plop in a cup, and that's how we know who is down and who's up. 40,404.
There you got it. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport, and I have some news of this sport to report. The world champion sleep talkers, Joe and Mo Red Zoff, have just gone to sleep and they're talking their heads off. For 55 years now, each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled all night to the other. They've talked about laws and they've talked about gauze. They've talked about paws and they've talked about flaws. They've talked quite a lot about old Santa Claus. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take up this sport. It's just fine for the jaws.
Do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Finnegan Fen, there's a sleepwalking group, which not only walks, but it walks a la hoop. Each night they go miles. Why they walk to such length? They have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often one puts down his hoop, stops hooping, and does some quick snooping for soup. That's why they are known as the Hoop Soup Snoop Group.
Oh, that's why.
That's I'd always wondered.
Yeah, me too. There you have it.
Hooping, souping, snooping.
It's quite a combination.
What a group.
Sleepwalking, too, are the curious Crandalls, who sleepwalk on hills with assorted-sized candles. The Crandalls walk nightly in slumbering peace, in spite of slight burns from the hot dripping grease. The Crandalls wear candles because they walk far, and if they wake up, want to see where they are.
You catch that grease somehow or other.
Good balance.
Well, that's true. Now the news has arrived from the Valley of Vale that a Chippendale mup has just bitten his tail, which he does every night before shutting his eyes. Such nipping sounds silly, but really it's wise. He has no alarm clock, so this is the way he makes sure that he'll wake at the right time of day. His tail is so long he won't feel any pain, till the nip makes the trip and gets up to his brain. In exactly 8 hours, the Chippendale mup will at last feel the bite and yell ouch and wake up.
It's quite an alarm clock.
It's quite a tale.
It is, that's true.
It's quite a tale of his tail.
A Mr. and Mrs. J. Carmichael Crocs have just gone to bed near the town of Fort Knox. And they, by the way, have the finest of clocks. I'm not sure at all that I quite understand just how the thing works with that one extra hand, but I do know this clock does one very slick trick. It doesn't tick-tock. How it goes is tock-tick. So with the ticks in its talker and the tocks in its ticker, it saves lots of time, and the sleepers sleep quicker. I'll have to try that out.
Well, where are we going to find a clock like that?
I don't know. I'll have to talk to the Croxes about that.
What a fine night for sleeping. From all that I hear, it's the best night for sleeping in many a year. They're even asleep in the Zweibeck Motel, and people don't usually sleep there too well. The beds are like rocks, and as everyone knows, the sheets are too short. They won't cover your toes. So, if people are actually sleeping in there, it's a great night for sleeping. It must be the air. Like using our friend the Thing as a pillow.
That's right.
Uncomfortable.
It's a great night for snores. I just had a report of some boys who are tops in this musical sport. The snortiest snorers in all our fair land are Snorter McPhail and his Snore-a-Snort band. This band can snore Dixie and Old Swanee River so loud it would make 40 elephants shiver. The loudest of all of the boys is McPhail. He snores with his head in a 3-gallon pail. So they snore in a cave 20 miles out of town. If they snored in closer, they would snore the town down.
All right, Super Kids, can you do a good snoring noise? Do you know who's asleep out in Funa Laguna? Two very nice Funa Laguna baboona. We've added them into our Who's Asleep count, which has grown to a really amazing amount. Exactly 8,808 creatures are sleeping now. Isn't that great?
It's really added up.
That's a lot. I don't know how many fours that would take.
A Jed is in bed, and the bed of a Jed is the softest of beds in the world, it is said. He makes it from pom-poms he grows on his head, and he's sleeping right now on the softest of fluff, completely exhausted from growing the stuff.
He's just a little guy with all that.
That's a lot of fluff
He's
balls.
been busy. The news has come in from the district of Doft that 2 oft are asleep and they're sleeping aloft. And how are they able to sleep off the ground? I'll tell you, I weighed one last week and I found that an oft is so light he weighs -1 pound. I don't really know how that works. Look at him go.
A moose is asleep, and he's dreaming of moose drinks. A goose is asleep, he is dreaming of goose drinks. That's well and good when a moose dreams of moose juice, and nothing goes wrong when a goose dreams of goose juice. But it isn't too good when a moose and a goose start dreaming they're drinking the other one's juice. Moose juice, not goose juice, is juice for a moose, and juice goose, not moose goose, is juice for a goose. So when goose gets a mouthful of juices of mooses, and moose gets a mouthful of juices from gooses, they fall out of their beds screaming screams. So, I'm warning you now, never drink in your dreams.
That got a little complicated. I got a little turned around there.
Don't want to confuse your mooses and your gooses and their juices, that's for sure.
Speaking of dreaming, I think you should note that the Bumbletub Club is now dreaming afloat. Every night they go dreaming down Bumbletub Creek, except for one night every third or fourth week when they stop for repairs because their Bumbletubs leak, but tonight they're afloat full of dreams, full of bliss, and that's why I'm bothering telling you this.
At the fork of a road and the vale of Vavode, 5-foot-weary salesmen have laid down their load. All day they've raced round in a heap at top speeds, unsuccessfully trying to sell Zifferzoof seeds, which nobody wants because nobody needs. Tomorrow will come, they'll go back to their chore, they'll start on the road, Zifferzoofing once more. But tonight they've forgotten their feet are so sore, and that's what the wonderful nighttime is for.
Wake me up when it's my turn to read. You gotta stretch out.
Oh boy.
Okay.
You got me going.
Alright. Everywhere, creatures have shut off their voices. They've all gone to bed in the beds of their choices. They're sleeping in bushes, they're sleeping in crannies, some on their stomachs and some on their fannies. They're peacefully sleeping in comfortable holes, some even on soft turf tufted barbershop poles. The number of sleepers is now past the millions.
Whoa.
The number of sleepers is now in the billions.
Wow. It's a lot of sleepers.
Oh, it just is taken off.
They're sleeping on steps, and on strings, and on floors, in mailboxes, ships, and the keyholes of doors. Every worm on a fishhook is safe for the night. Every fish in the sea is too sleepy to bite. For every whale in the ocean has turned off his spout. Every light between here and Farfoodle is out. And now, adding things up, we are way beyond billions. Our Who's Asleep score is now up in the zillions.
I can't even count that high. 99 zillion, 9 trillion, and 2 creatures are sleeping. So, how about you? It's fantastic. He's getting pretty sleepy.
Getting closer. When you put out your light, then the number will be 99 zillion, 9 trillion, and 3.
The gloves are made for
think
fighting
that's,
supervillains, not for turning pages, I think.
That's the end of our story. Oh, yep.
One more. Don't shortchange the kids.
Well, it's just...
Just a picture of a little super kid ready for bed.
That's right.
Did you show it to them?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Better do that.
Yeah, don't shortchange anybody.
Well, Super Kids, we've been thinking a lot about you, and we want to wish you the best, and thank you for continuing to inspire others and make the world a better place with all that you do every day. And just know that we're part of your team, and that there's a team of others that care a lot about you and want you to stay strong.
Just like we have Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm on our team to make up the Fantastic Four, we're sure that you've got a great team around you, parents, brothers and sisters, people that care about you, teachers, friends, all of them, I'm sure. We just want to be part of your team, make sure that you're doing well.
We're cheering you on. Take care, and until next time, have a good sleep.